Press a push button with Raspberry Pi and turn on LED when a button is pressed or upon a detection sensor detection. So the program goes something like this. The block diagram of the system, we have it over here. So here logic is make sure that your GPIO 18 is connected to LED module, positive terminal of LED, and its negative is given to a ground. Then we need a switch module. This switch module which we have, we can interface 4 switches with any of the system, and here we are using switch 1. Switch 1 button is used, and the other terminal is again given to the ground. So GPIO 18 is interfaced or connected to LED. Similarly, GPIO 17 is connected to a button. So this push button acts as an input device, which means you are receiving a signal through the pin line. When a button is pressed, you are gonna receive some signal, that's an electrical signal, through that pin line, and later we are gonna program it like what to do when we receive a signal and when we are not receiving any signal. And here the logic is, when button is pressed, we should make sure that the LED glows. So here there is a problem whenever you are creating a pin to be made as input. Then initially when the button is pressed or when the button is not pressed, the status of the pin which we will be getting may not be undefined sometimes. So we may have to make sure that we get a certain logic in those pins, which can be designed with the help of a pull-up register. So in Raspberry Pi 4, almost all the pins, GPIO pins which we are using, has got an internal pull-up register which we can trigger it, which we can enable it. That's meant for the safety purpose for almost all the pins. Otherwise, the pins in your Raspberry Pi might get damaged. So here the logic is, when this button is pressed, we are gonna get 0 volt at this pin line. So if the button is not pressed, then we will be getting a high voltage here. That is, at pin number 17 we'll be receiving high voltage when the button is not pressed. When it is pressed, we are gonna receive 0 voltage here. So this logic we will be using for programming here. Okay, so this is the program. So first we define that we need to import GPIO library from Raspberry Pi package. We define import time module, that's for giving a delay. This is for defining the mode. We are using GPIO numbering. This is for ignoring the warnings. Set warnings are ignored. Then we use setup. So GPIO pin, and here we have a third argument which is pull up down. So here we are using pull up register. So write the value of pull up down register. Set the value to be equal to up. And here the 18th pin we are using it for LED interface, and 17th pin number is meant for button interface. So here, as I said, looking at this figure, when the button is pressed, you are gonna receive 0. When we receive 0, then we are gonna turn on the LED. So here we receive the state of the pin 17, and based on the value state which we get, so suppose if the state value is equal to false, then we can simply send a high signal through the pin line 18 for 2 seconds, and we can trigger it low. Otherwise always it will be low. So this is the logic. Again, when the button is closed, the state which we'll be receiving in this variable will be false, which means we are going to get 0. So when it is 0, the pin goes high for 2 seconds and it has been triggered low. Suppose if we get state as true, else condition is gonna get executed, wherein you're killing a time, and here always the pin is turned low. So this is something what happens when a button is pressed. LED will blink, otherwise it's not gonna blink. So here it's gonna blink for 2 seconds high, then it's gonna turn off completely. Otherwise that's gonna remain 0 always. Also, this is the program, and this is the hardware connection between Raspberry Pi, LED module and switch.